Hello YouTube Pipers, Double O Pipe here, aka Rick. I'm going to pick up my Savinelli Bing's favorite. I'm going to see about putting a filter in this thing. See what I got here. I think I'll use these balsa wood filter. Everybody's been telling me to use a filter to cut back on the cut back on the tongue bite. So I've been trying to do that. These filters, unfortunately, are either too short or too long. So let's see what this one does. Yeah, that draws pretty good. These are too long. These are too short. And the 6 mil, which I think this is supposed to be, are just a millimeter too big. I don't quite understand it, but there you have it. Well, this old velvet feels pretty moist. First pipe I've had since the last video I made, which was last week, I guess. I have cut back on these pipes because of the state my mouth ends up being in. And I'm back to velvet. Face it, I'm a codger. That's all there is to it. Now, a minute ago, that thing was shooting a flame out to here. I guess I used all the gas. Lord have mercy. See if I can turn this flame out a little higher. No, I guess that's as high as it'll go. I'm going to bring this matchbox over just in case that runs out of fuel. I can't understand this one. It was sending out a beautiful flame there. Well, there you go. I hope everyone's been okay over this last week, getting over Thanksgiving, getting into the swing for Christmas. It's just a pleasant smoke. Somebody sent me a box full of artists' supplies. Two trays. Well, now I can't get the darn thing back in. Two trays with certain makes of color. These are crayons. I haven't played with crayons in years. Well, I don't know what the story is, but something's blocking this back there. I'll have to check it out after this. But I guess somebody's trying to tell me something. With Christmas coming up, I keep thinking about the old days back when we lived in what I considered the haunted house. At the end of that hallway that we had in this house, we would put the Christmas tree there where it was next to the window. This was back preschool days for me. And my dad, I learned very early, my dad could look at a package no matter how you wrapped it. He could look at it from across the room and tell you what's in it. Uncanny how he could do that. Well, this particular Christmas, I was under there shaking, grabbing the boxes, shaking them, trying to figure out what was in them, trying to do what my dad did. Like I said, he could look across the room, tell you what's in his package. So I found one with his name on it, and I held it up, and I said, you want to hold this and see if you can figure out what's in it? And he looked at it real hard. He said, yeah, bring it over. So I took it over to him, and he held it in his hand, did this number with it, shook it very lightly at his ear, got a smile on his face. He said, it's an electric razor. And he gave it back to me, and I put it under the tree. My mother was standing behind him, and she went, because that's what she had gotten him, and she was hoping that he wouldn't know what it was. Well, like I say, she was standing behind him, and she got this look on her face like, again. She just, missed out again. And then she brightened up, got a smile on her face, and went about her business for the rest of the night. Well, the next day when Dad went to work, and I was still asleep, so I didn't know this was going on, she took that package and very carefully opened it, undid the paper, put it to the side, opened the box, took out the electric razor, put it safely away somewhere. Now, I had seen her wrap this, so I knew what it was. I was 5 years old. And I was just as disappointed as she was whenever Dad guessed it. Well, that one's run out too. Took out that electric razor, hid it where she could find it, and she poured in hard Christmas candies into that box, up to the top. Folded the cover, shook it. It didn't rattle. It was about the same weight. She smiled. She got the paper, that she wrapped it back up so that it looked exactly like it did before she had taken it apart, and she put it right back in the same place under the tree. Like I said, all this done while I was asleep that morning. So I had no idea she had done that. Well, she left that package there. Dad never picked it up again because he knew what it was. I never picked it up because it wasn't mine. But I continued to pick mine up during the week. Well, Christmas Eve, I was still under the thing, shaking packages, trying to figure out what I had. And Dad said, I think tonight we'll each open a package so that we won't have to feel the anxiety and not be able to sleep tonight, thinking about me because I was hyper, wanting to know what I had. And we both said, okay, that sounds like a good idea. I was excited because I saw that package under the tree that was mine. It was huge to me. Well, Dad said to my mother, see that package over there? And she said, yeah. He said, pick that up and open it up. So she did. Always, everybody in the family did this because my dad set the example. Not that he made us do this, but we watched him and we wanted to do this because he did this. Very meticulously take the tape off, unfold the paper without tearing anything, and put it aside because, as Dad said, we can use this again. He was a person who had been through the Depression, so when he could save something to be used again, he did. Well, she took her time doing it. I was going, when's it my turn? That type thing. Finally, she got the paper off, put it aside, opened up the box, and it was a Timex watch. And She got a big smile on her face because that is what she had wanted, and Dad knew it. The Timex is, what is it they said? It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Well, after she put that on her wrist, Dad said, "All right, son, go over there and choose what you want to open." So I went over and I picked that big package up and I stumbled over near where he was and put it down. And he was saying, "Son, don't you want to get a smaller package?" Trying to ease me into getting a smaller one. He said, "You know, they always say that the best things come in small packages." And I said, "No, sir, this is the one I want." So I went through the same rigmarole, just easing the tape up, unfolding it. Very unusual for a kid my age, because at parties, if I opened a present, everybody just razzed me and teased me because I was so meticulous. One of my dad's friends had taken pictures and he said, "Watch this." And he ran the movie backwards so that you could see as if I were folding the paper. I mean, it just looked as if I had just wrapped it perfectly. Funny the things that a family does because they're family. At any rate, I finally got to the end, opened up mine, and it was a ranch. It had a ranch house. It had a fenced-in area over here, and it had the bunkhouse over here, all on this large plastic stand. It was something I had been talking about forever. And along with it came cowboys and horses, all plastic figures to play with and put on the ranch. And I was just in hog heaven because that's something that I really had wanted. So I started just playing. I was just ignoring everybody now. And Mom said, "Well, how about yours, dear? You want to open yours now?" I said, "No, I don't have to. It's okay." She said, "No, it's only right that you should have something to unwrap, and I'd like you to unwrap it." And so she brought him over the package, and he just smiled, knowingly said, "All right, I'll open it." Well, same thing. Very meticulous in unwrapping it. And as he pulled the paper off, as he always did, he said, "We can save that for another day." And he got the box and he lifted the lid, and his face just dropped. He had been wrong. He was more shocked to the fact that he had been wrong than he didn't have what was in there. And he opened it up, and there was just a lot of candy in it. And I looked up and I said, and my mother had this smile of triumph on her face because she had fooled my dad for the first time. And this little voice pipes up and says, "Mom, what happened to the razor you got him?" At which point my mother's face went from triumph, and my dad's face, you could see it. My mother's face went down and my dad's face went up with a smile, and she went down with a frown. She had lost out on her victory because of that little pipsqueak kid down there. But I didn't know. Well, that was one of those, a family has stories that they tell about each other. That was one of the stories that always went along with our family. And every Christmas we'd tell that story. Dad had some of Mom when they were in England. and she wasn't used to drinking. She wasn't used to drinking. And she had had a few Christmas toddies over there. And she was trying to do something with the curtains, and she was up on the ladder, and he said, "You know, you should be a little more careful." She said, "I'd be a lot more careful if these curtains would hold still." I don't know. That's just a family thing. Y'all wouldn't get a chuckle out of that like I would remembering back. So every year after that, we would always wrap something up in hopes that we could fool whoever was opening their present into thinking it was something totally different from what it was. My dad did that to me because I had wanted, excuse me, one year I had wanted a quiver to put arrows in because I was a big bow and arrow guy. Being a huge fan of Robin Hood, so I kept asking for a quiver and asking for a quiver. And one day before Christmas, I saw a package down under the tree that I picked up, and I said, "This is my quiver, and I know it is. Can I go ahead and open it now?" He said, "You got to wait till Christmas. You can't open that now." I said, "I really would like to use it now." He said, "Christmas." So I put it back under the tree. Excuse me. Finally, when Christmas came and I walked over and picked up my package, I had this big smile on my face because I was finally going to get to use my quiver. Same thing, still open it up real slow and everything. And when I got the paper off, it was newspaper that he had formed into a funnel, like, not a funnel, but the exact shape of that quiver. And when I got it and looked at it, I said, "Where's my quiver?" He just laughed and pulled it out from the back of the chair that he was sitting in and said, "Here it is." He said, "I just wanted to see your face whenever you opened it up." We always tried to fool him, but we were never able to fool him. My mother fooled him that one Christmas, and I spoiled that for her. But anyway, I enjoy looking back on those days. Did y'all play little tricks on each other like that too? Well, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope I didn't bore you too much. Take care of yourselves. And I'll be back. I don't know when, but I'll be back with another story. I've got a few more Christmas stories that I'd like to bring out, so I'll be back with those. Take care of yourselves. God bless you. Till the next time. Bye-bye.